Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is JB.
And I'm Chandler, and this is the Unbiased Hard Take. And on today's Unbiased Hard Take, me and JB, as always, are going to wrap up Week 9. And then, of course, we'll predict our Week 10 games. JB, what is one topic from Week 9 that stood out to you that you want to discuss?
Ooh, well, for me, I probably want to talk a little bit about the Houston and Tampa Bay game. Um, and of course, CJ Stroud doing his thing, but he had 5 touchdowns. 5. That right now, I do believe that CJ Stroud is probably going to be a rookie of the year.
Oh, yeah.
He's putting out amazing numbers. We thought that but majority of the people thought that they're going to be um, a bust and everything else. And when I thought the Houston Texans weren't going to be that great, because if we look at their roster, they're not good at all. Well, on their defense side of majority of it all, because they gave their defense gave up 37 points.
I mean, it's true.
So with that being said, and then Baker, he's putting up really good numbers still. Um, he only has 12 touchdowns and 4 interceptions when he's a Buccaneer. So he's putting up amazing numbers. Don't get me wrong, but he also played good this game too. But both teams actually played really well. But CJ Stroud, man, he's a force to be reckoned with. I think the Texans has found their franchise quarterback for years to come, and
And
they
to kind of make
better
a comment.
and they better keep him for. Hopefully, they see it too.
Oh, you know they see it. Because you look here. I have the stats here. CJ Stroud this past week actually set the NFL single game rookie passing yard record with 470 yards and 5 tutties.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we haven't seen a rookie performance like that. We haven't seen a rookie quarterback play this good, I would say, since Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
As me and you before the podcast weren't super big Andrew Luck fans, but he did have a really good start to his rookie year. You know what I mean?
yeah. He had a really good start.
He did. As you look, the Texans are actually second in the AFC South right now. The Texans did recently lose to the Panthers, but then of course they lost to the Saints, so they lost to the Falcons as well. They did beat Pittsburgh. They did beat Jacksonville. So, I mean, they're competing in these games.
Mm-hmm.
Houston is a lot better than people. I can't truly believe it.
Yeah, because for a while, even as they are the newer franchise in the NFL.
Newest in the NFL, yeah.
They're the newest in the NFL, and we all knew that it was going to be horrible. Like, even when me and you actually started watching football, we all even said when we were younger that this team's gonna suck for years to come, and I truly believe that this team, if they make improvements in their defense and probably get a few key players here and there on their offense, they're going to be good. They're going to be a force to reckon with, just like the Jacksonville. They did the exact same thing. Had a horrible franchise. Just everything was just wrong, and then they started getting key players here and there. They were keeping their key players, even though they lost Jalen Ramsey through that
Yeah.
ordeal. But and I think it was good for them to actually get rid of Jalen Ramsey, because now look at them. They got so much money to spread around, and they're getting more and more and more money. to spread around even more. So,
I mean, it's true.
and
But you look at Houston.
if the
I
Texans
think Houston's
do,
found their guy.
oh yeah, for sure. They
Absolutely. Look at him.
he only has one turnover, one. What
One.
other what other quarterback has or more than one interception? There's none. There
None.
isn't, except for backups that never hardly ever play. But
Exactly. Not even Joe Burrow.
yeah, well,
Pat
yeah,
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes,
Only
Josh
CJ Stroud.
Allen, like no
And you
one.
look at Houston, Houston's 4-4. I mean, they do have Tank Dell. He had 2 touchdowns, 114 yards last game. They have Schultz, 130 yards, 10 catches, 1 tutty. I mean, they have Brown at receiver as well. I mean, 153 yards, 1 touchdown. So they have some good young players.
Mm-hmm.
D'Amico Ryans has these guys working hard. D'Amico Ryans has this locker room intact. They
Mm-hmm.
have a young team. They could be contenders here in a year or two.
Yep. Like I said, if they get a few key players on their defense and there a few key players on their offense to like the receivers probably, and because I feel like their offensive line is actually doing really good.
They need a running back. Singletary had like 26 yards, I believe, if I remember correctly.
13,
Don't quote me on that.
yeah, 13 carries and only 26 yards. So that's probably
Yeah,
one
they need a
big,
running back. They need a little bit of a running game right now.
yeah. Because I don't think, yeah, he even caught 2 catches for 0 yards. So
Right.
they need a running or halfback big time. But I mean, for everything
Yes.
else,
Even receivers, they've have young receivers that are kind of proving themselves and they're having good moments and showing good promise.
yeah, like Noah Brown,
Yeah. Tank
never heard,
Dell. I like Tank
never
Dell.
never heard of the dude.
Good. He showed some
Never
promise, man.
never heard of Noah Brown. Like never heard anything, and all of a sudden I see him called. He caught 6 for 6, 153 yards and a touchdown. Or we knew about Dalton Schultz, Tank
Yeah,
Dell,
he's a solid.
Tank Dell. Like I said, never heard of the guy. So I mean,
Oh,
all
Tank
these.
Dell's a playmaker.
I mean, clearly because he caught 6 for 11, 114 yards and 2 touchdowns, and with the season right now, he's caught 28 passes, 454 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and he's averaging
Exactly. And he's averaging,
16.2
yep.
yards or a catch. So he's
And his longest for the season, 68. So he's a playmaker.
yeah, he's a playmaker, and like I said, never heard of the guy, never had.
Right. And he's a young draft pick player they've developed.
Exactly, and that's how it's honestly should be done.
That's the Packer way. And speaking of the Packer way, one topic I want to talk about from week 9 is my loving Green Bay Packers because I don't have to go on a rampage. I don't have to destroy things. I don't have to break anything. I don't have to cry in the corner in the fetal position because my Green Bay Packers got in the win column and they won 20-3. And yes, I know Matthew Stafford was hurt. I know it was Brett Rippon who had 130 yards, 1 interception, did not play good at all. I watched that entire game. But I don't care because we're back in the win column. We improved to 3-5 and broke our 4-game losing streak that felt like it lasted a lifetime. I don't care that it was against Brett Rippon. It was a nice win. Jordan Love, by the way, he looked very good. 20 for 26, 228 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers at all. They finally listened and actually watched the film and gave the ball to the running backs because Aaron Jones had 73 yards. Wilson had 43 yards as a rookie. Luke Musgrave had a nice pass there. They were running end arounds to Jaden Reed. They done that stuff against Chicago and Atlanta, and then they kind of stopped. I don't understand why. You have speed. Jaden Reed from Michigan State's made plays. He's made some nice catches. He's a fast player. He's a kick returner sometimes as well. And he makes plays. They gave him on the end around. He got about a 19-yard carry if I remember that game correctly. So I mean, the Packers looked really good. The defense, Joe Barry. I owe you an apology because the Packers now average only 19 points per game currently, and our defense is performing well. I do want to say on this podcast that in our mock draft special, if people can refer back to that, I looked it up today, that I had a first round grade on Anthony Johnson Jr. Well, Anthony Johnson Jr. is a seventh round safety pick that I had a first round grade on, and he had his first career interception. So good to see that kind of interesting thing. I'm proud of.
Good job.
But I'm just very happy for the Packers. Jordan Love, I have more stats here. He has on pace for 4,018 total yards, rushing and passing, 29 total touchdowns, and 17 total turnovers. In an NFL quarterback rating where 75 is considered average, he has 81.9. So he's had a slightly above average season. This week's going to be tough. We'll talk about this week here in a little bit because it's Green Bay Pittsburgh week on this podcast.
Yes, sir.
That's right. So, speaking of next week, let's move on to week 10. JB, who, look, here's an interesting one. Thursday night football. Uh, the Panthers or the Bears? That's really Thursday night football. Are you serious?
Oh, for the two teams, I mean, we might as well call it the Toilet Bowl 2.0. And once again, the Bears are in the toilet bowl again. I don't know if they're going to redeem themselves or what, but I have a feeling they're going to beat the Panthers, but I am going to stick to my word. I am not going to pick the Bears ever again. So I am going to pick Carolina for this game. And hopefully, Bryce Young will take them to the promised land and
Take him to promised land.
Ashley take him to the promised land and Ashley show that he's worth the quarterback.
Oh, he took him to the promised land last week. Because last week he threw 2 pick-sixes and had 3 total interceptions and only 173 total yards. And he
Yep.
threw 2 interceptions to the same player. Both pick-sixes were to this. That's horrible.
Yeah.
He had a horrible performance.
Yeah.
The Bears, yes, Tyler Bagnett had 3 interceptions, but at least he had 2 touchdowns. And at least he had 220 yards. And they only lost by 1 possession. They lost by 7 points to the Saints. Tyler Bagnett is not that dude either. So this is going to be a rough football game to watch. But the Bears right now are a little more. I hate the Bears. Let's make that clear. I hate the Bears. But unbiasedly, the Bears suck as well. Both these teams are horrible. But I think the Bears suck a little less. Justin Fields might play this week. He's still day to day. They said Tyler Bagnett's not that guy, but I can't pick Carolina after C.J. Stroud's performance last week. They're tied for the worst in the league right now at 1-7. Give me the Bears.
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna. I'm sticking to my word. I picked them once. They failed me. So yeah.
I have
I'm
a saying as a Packers fan. I do. I hope I'm wrong about this pick because there's 2 rules as a Packers fan. You root for the Packers and whoever plays the Bears. So I mean, I hope the Panthers win. As a loyal blood, green, gold, bleeding person, I have to root for the Panthers. But unbiasedly, I think Chicago wins. Moving forward. Ooh, this is a out of country game. Overseas again. 9:30 a.m. football. The Indianapolis Colts at the New England Patriots. An old rivalry that's dead.
Yep. Um, for me, I'm going to pick Indianapolis on this one, just for the fact that um they are. I feel like the Colts are a better team. They do got the better quarterback. in my opinion, because Mac Jones is not it. So, so yeah, give me the Colts. The Colts has a better defense, uh, a slightly better offense, in my opinion. Um, give me the Colts.
I mean, I agree with you because you look, the Patriots currently are on a 2-game losing streak. They even lost to the Raiders, so they've actually lost. You look here, one, two,
God dang.
three, four. They've lost 4 of the last 5 games. They did beat Buffalo somehow, but you look, they just lost to the Commanders 20-17. The Colts just spanked Carolina. It wasn't competitive. Who people who kind of kept track of that game, Bryce Young again. Colts had 2 good defensive plays. The Colts had 2 pick sixes. That's where 14 of their points came from. Gardner Minshew was a good quarterback this game. Didn't really need to do too much because of those 2 pick sixes. He did have 1 touchdown, 127 yards, no interceptions. Michael Pittman made some plays, 64 yards. Matt Gay made some field goals. I mean, I think Indianapolis has competed all year long. Like we kind of said, they probably should have won that Browns game as well. New England's just not. I was wrong about New England competing a little bit this year. I think I'll admit that. Of course, I didn't have them as a playoff team. I'm not that idiotic, but I thought they'd be a little more competitive than this with a Belichick team. I mean, Mac Jones has made the playoffs in the past, so I thought they'd at least win 6, 7 games. I was wrong. Give me the Colts. All right, me and JB see if we're on the same page here. This is a good game. Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, a division game. Oh, I'm gonna pick the Baltimore Ravens
Okay. Mark
because
JB in there for Baltimore.
right now the Titans, or not the Titans. The I did it again. I'm looking I'm looking at a Titans
Blooper.
I'm looking at a Titans logo and talking about the Ravens. But Ravens are on a 4-game winning streak right now.
They are.
Ever since they lost to the Steelers from the 17-10, they've been on a rampage. So, and I think that rampage is still going to continue against the Browns. And once again, Lamar Jackson's probably going to give them the business. Probably give his old MVP caliber. So yeah, give me Baltimore.
You know, I agree with you. I think this is going to be a very, very, very good game. But you look at Baltimore. My God. As you look at Baltimore, yeah, me and you both had Baltimore last week, but I didn't think the game would be like that.
Mm-hmm.
They thrashed Seattle, 37-3. Seattle's a good competitive 5-3 team.
Yep. And
I
the
mean,
funny
Geno
part,
Smith, no touchdown.
and Lamar, they didn't even get a touchdown. He didn't even throw one
No,
or nothing.
he didn't run one in either. So I mean, they did this as a team. That's 37 points without your quarterback scoring a single touchdown. I want to repeat that again. The Ravens scored 37 points without Lamar Jackson scoring a single touchdown. The Ravens could damn well be the best team in the league right now.
Because right now, looks like Tyler Huntley threw one. Um,
Right.
Keaton Mitchell, he ran for 138 yards and 1 touchdown with only 9 carries. Uh,
Gus
Gus
Edwards had two
Gus
had
Edwards
two
had two,
touchdowns. I did not bench him in that league I struggle in, and I won this week. So
and then Odell, he caught one. He caught a touchdown. So good job for
yep,
Odell. His first touchdown as a Raven. So
yep.
good job for him. But yeah, I mean they've. I mean Lamar had. It looks like he had a fumbling issue. They did lose one, and he recovered his own fumble. Odell, fumbled and lost one as well. But yeah, like the defense, they've it looks like they're the defense actually held out pretty well. But yeah, even the run game helped them win the game.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a team effort. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they made Seattle look bad. I think Baltimore wins this game. I think it's closer than people realize. Deshaun Watson, I've given up on him. He gave up on the team. I mean, yeah, last week he did. You look, the Browns did win 27-0, but it wasn't. It was against the Cardinals. I mean, truly, it was against Caleb Toon, who had 2 interceptions and 58 passing yards. This dude's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's a third stringer. But Kyler Murray's supposed to be back. We'll get into the Cardinals later. But the Browns, Deshaun Watson, 2 touchdowns. They still can't really run the ball without Nick Chubb. 44 yards for Ford. Kareem Hunt, 38 yards. He did get in the end zone. Amari Cooper is still a great receiver. He's still a consistent guy. I mean, 139 yards, 1 touchdown. He's still an underrated receiver. But yeah, Baltimore's thrashing teams. Lamar Jackson's an MVP candidate. Baltimore wins this game.
And it's funny because I looked at the Cleveland Browns injuries. Sean Watson's not even on there.
Oh,
So,
Kevin Stefanski is quoted this week as saying he is good. Quote Kevin Stefanski there.
well, let's hope he actually plays. But if not, he's probably
He doesn't.
he don't care.
He's not a team player.
Nope.
He don't care.
Nope.
He don't care. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's truly not. I'd get up on him. The Browns were winning games without him. They were winning with PJ Walker. Browns have a good team, but Baltimore's better.
Right.
Moving forward, before I get on the Sean Watson kick, the Houston Texans at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Houston Texans.
They're 4-4.
Cincinnati has been going on a nice little tear too. They're also on a
Yep.
4-game winning streak.
Yeah, I mean they out physicaled Buffalo.
Yep. And even though um I feel like this game is going to be just like the Bucks or like the Buccaneers and Houston game. High scoring game on both sides of the ball on offense. But I think Cincinnati has a bit better of a defense than what Houston has. So I'm gonna pick Cincinnati on this game.
I think you're right. Cincinnati here. Cincinnati, they made Buffalo look. I mean, they held Buffalo to under 20 points. Buffalo has some problems going on. They're 5-4. I'll get into Buffalo a little bit later. That'll be our last game. I'll get into that detail later. But you look at what Cincinnati's been able to do since they started out that season rough. They're 5-3 now. Burrow looks like himself. 31 for 44, 348 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon had 1 touchdown. T. Higgins, who struggled this season, kind of broke out, looked good again. He had over 100 yards, 110. And Jamar Chase only had 41. He's kind of dealing with a small injury right now as well, so we'll kind of have to monitor that, as will my fantasy team. But you look at Cincinnati, their defense held Buffalo under 20 points. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Buffalo has some issues going on. I'll get into them later. But I mean, Cincinnati, yes, Houston looks good. They're 4-4. They have some promising receivers with Brown and Dell, and they still need a running game. Yes, CJ Stroud looks good. I still expect him to play respectable, but I think Cincinnati wins this game. They're too experienced. They're on a roll.
Yep.
Ooh, here's an interesting game. We might have another different one here. The San Francisco 49ers at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh. Um. Let me think here. I mean, the way that 49ers has been playing right now, they're on a 3-game losing streak, coming off of a bye. Um, and then their defense. I know their defense just got whole lot better with their with Chase Young signing, even though I felt like he was going to be a Steeler, but you know, it happens, I guess. But I think with everything that they're going through, well, let me look at the 49ers injuries. Let me check to see. So Debo is still a questionable as of yesterday, but he was on the field on their informal session on Monday and appeared to have no limitations while going through individual and group drills. So he might be good to go on Sunday. So with everyone else as a weapon wise for Brock Purdy, um, I think they're going to be a solid team, but I do believe, uh, I don't know.
This is a good game
This
in this window,
this this
the 1 o'clock
this
window. This is a good game.
this is a really good game, but I'm probably going to, you know what? Give me San Francisco. I don't think the Jacksonville's offense can't withstand the 49ers defense. So I think I still believe since Chase Young is on their defense now, it's going to be a whole different ball game because they have Nick Bosa on one side and Chase
You
Young on
do.
the other side, and with the secondaries the way it is now and their linebackers,
Yep.
it's a huge force to be reckoned with. So give me the 49ers.
Me and you are actually on the same page here, and I didn't think we would be. Because you look at the 49ers, they have lost their last 3 games. But they are coming off a bye, but as is Jacksonville. So we have to consider both these teams are coming off bye weeks. Jacksonville went into their bye week feeling really good with that win at Pittsburgh. We watched that game together, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 49ers lost their last 3 games, started 5-0. So since that Cowboys game and George Kittle lifted his shirt that said, fuck the Cowboys, they've lost every game. But I'm on record on this podcast as saying don't freak out about the 49ers. They're my Super Bowl pick. I have them winning the entire thing. Brock Purdy is that guy. Don't worry about him. He has struggled a little bit. So he kind of needs to get it together here. Like you said, the 49ers are getting healthy. I think San Francisco bounces back. They're the best team in the league. They had a little bit of their season slump. They're going to get back on track. Kyle Shanahan's one of the best coaches in the league. San Francisco's one of the best rosters, one of the best defenses. Brock Purdy's going to get back on track. Give me San Francisco. I think in a good game. Jacksonville is 6-2 in their division, so I'm not going to sit here and think it's going to be a blowout. I think this game could go either way, but I just have a hard time thinking San Francisco's going to lose 4 games in a row.
I do believe you on that one. I don't see them losing 2 games or 4 games in a row.
Right. Jacksonville's still good. This is going to be a good game. Fun game, I think, to watch. Hopefully, we can get it on TV. Moving forward, the New Orleans Saints at the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Dobbs made that nice little comeback there after getting traded
And as I knew he
last week.
would, as I knew he would. Um,
You're a believer in Josh Dobbs. Are you on this podcast?
I
See,
told
we know
you.
what we talk about.
I told you. I mean the way has he played in Carolina or in Arizona. Um, but so I know I still believe that we should have not gotten rid of Josh Dobbs when he was a Steeler, even though we got him a second time and then we released him again. So I still believe he would have been a really good backup quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But now he's bouncing around teams and he is looking good on both teams now since he carried
Yep.
the Minnesota Vikings. He didn't know the last names of his receivers and how they
Yep.
performed. So with that being said, he carried them to a team or to a win. Um, and as a rocket scientist, Josh Dobbs He's got that chemistry down to a T. The velocity and everything, how to get there, and vice versa. But I'm gonna go with Minnesota on this game.
Okay. Breaking news: we have a different matchup this week because I have New Orleans. I kind of earlier in the season kind of started doubting New Orleans and disbelieving in them. I have since apologized on this podcast to them. I'm not making that same mistake twice. I'm taking the Saints. These last two games, they're on a two-game winning streak. Derek Carr has looked like himself these last two games. I mean, two touchdowns, 211 yards, 25 for 34.
Oh, excuse me.
And of course, last game, of course. Oh, last game, of course, he lit it up as well against the Indianapolis Colts. Taysom Hill's getting involved like he normally does. It's kind of like an Army Swiss knife. He's an old school player. I like him a lot. As a football player, he does a little bit of everything. As a
He's not the
football
first
player should
person.
back in the old.
He's not the first person to do it either.
And the Green Bay Packers cut him back in the day. He was our third string quarterback at one time. He could be doing this for us. But instead, we cut him. Kind of like you with Josh Dobbs. Kind of history lesson for the audience, unfortunately. Uh, unfortunately. But Derek Carr has looked like himself again. The Saints are back on track. The Saints right now are 5-4. They have a winning record. They just beat the Bears 24-17, and the Saints are first in the NFC South right now. So they're back on track. Yes, Minnesota here has looked good. They're also 5-4, but I think because the fact that I think New Orleans has a better defense. New Orleans has weapons that are healthy right now. Jefferson's still hurt. I think with Josh Dobbs, yes, he's a good player, but New Orleans defense will be able to stop him enough for Derek Carr to score. Give me this. Give me the Saints. Ah, yes. The game we've all been waiting for. The Green Bay Packers at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
And for me, and it's going to be probably no surprise here who I'm going to be picking, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though I do believe it's been floating around social media uh, with um, with George Pickens and his slump lately. Um, I do believe Mike Tomlin's not gonna come out of it, even though he said it's not his concerning right now. But we all understand how Mike Tomlin is as a head coach. He knows what's going on and he is going to fix it, but he's not going to actually tell the social media that he is going to fix it because he's even though it is a pebble in his shoe, that's what he said on quote on one of his media. It's everyone hates a pebble in their shoe. I mean, be honest, everyone hates it. Even though this is not a concern, it is a huge concerning for him. Because it's a huge. I think it's going to change ever since for 665 days, Deontay Johnson finally scored a touchdown, even though he had a huge history of injury and with everything else coming forward. But and he didn't celebrate. He just walked to the bench and moped and complained. But I mean, honestly, he should have scored that touchdown. I don't know why you take a huge leap of in the end zone. You got like 2 yards, and all of a sudden you decided to take a huge step. Just tiptoe it in. But I think I think he's just not getting targeted as well that as much ever since Deontay Johnson is finally back. But I think he just need to be a grown man and actually care. Because he if anything, he's probably gonna be our next Chase Claypool, in my opinion, if he keeps this up. And once he's gonna go from team to team to team, he's not gonna be good.
Yep, causing the locker room issues.
So he needs to fix his attitude now and actually be a team player and not just a me myself and I type of player. Because I know he's a playmaker. He can make plays, but if you don't get targeted, just and you have your other teams, you have your other teammates doing it. It's a team game. No, don't be a baby about it. So, but I'm still gonna go Pittsburgh, um, just for case scenario because we have a better defense. I'm just saying it. We have a better defense. Well, at least we don't have our slowest linebacker on a best our best receiver in the league. I mean, at least we don't do that. So so give me the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I've been pretty quiet over here for a minute, and I know that's unlike me, as this podcast knows. It's unlike me. You're probably right. Pittsburgh Steelers play in a great division. They're 5-3. They're the only division in football. All four teams, the Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, would be 5-3. So that's the best division in football right now. My God, the AFC North is very competitive. Pittsburgh
And
Steelers coming off,
and
huh?
if we end the season right now, all the division of AFC North it will be in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So I'm just
And you
saying that
look,
right now.
yeah, the Steelers beat the Titans. They lost to Jacksonville, but they did beat the Rams. They beat the Ravens. I was just saying something to beat the Ravens. I mean, that's pretty impressive. You're right. But you know what? I don't give a crap because my Packers coming off a nice little win there, 20-3, didn't allow a single touchdown. You have two very young corners back there at Anthony Johnson Jr., seventh round pick this last year that I has a first round grade making plays out there. You have Carrington Valentine. We traded Rasul Douglas. Those defensive backs, they really last week they responded. They responded hard with that trade from Rasul Douglas. They played hard. Valentine was all over the field. You had Jair Alexander tipping that ball that Johnson got the interception on. You had Devondre Campbell making plays out there. Rashawn Gary making plays, getting pressure on the quarterback. That Packers defense, very impressive. Hard to only allow 3 points in today's NFL. Jordan Love getting back on track, like I talked about a little bit. Green Bay's going to win this game. Green Bay's going to go into Pittsburgh. Green Bay's going to win. They're going to go in there and spoil that party. We'll be in there and be party poopers. Green Bay going to keep going. Green Bay going to go keep going. Going to respond back. They're going to win 2 in a row and go 4-5 and be right back in the thick of things. That might be some facts me spitting there, but a lot of that's coming from my heart. A lot of that's coming from the film I watched of that Rams game too. Go back and watch it. Packers will win this game. Upset alert. Green Bay wins.
Okay, there you got it.
Okay. I seen that face you making over there. I'm telling you.
We'll wait till Sunday, see what happens.
I see that glare. All right. The Tennessee Titans at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh man.
Go, Pat, go. Go, Pat, go.
I
You know
mean,
what? I'll make it interesting for you.
what?
If Green Bay wins, I have to wear a Steelers shirt. No, sorry, excuse me. If Pittsburgh wins, I have to wear a Steelers shirt. If Green Bay wins, you have to wear a Packers shirt next week on the podcast.
All
If
right,
you're so confident, and I'm so confident.
all right, fine. We'll do it.
That's a deal.
It is a
Okay.
deal.
Gotcha.
It's on audio,
You're gonna
so.
look good in that. You're gonna look good in that Brett Favre jersey I have.
But going back to the Tennessee and Tampa Bay game, um, I said both teams are coming off with the loss. Um, even though Will Levis is the quarterback, and he is looking really good. He went 22 for 39, 262 yards, and that late interception in the game. But I believe that Tampa Bay will probably win this game if they hold up to keeping Derrick Henry to gain big yards. If they manage that, and I think Tampa Bay will have a shot at winning this game. Getting off,
Okay.
hopefully Tampa Bay will get off their 4-game losing streak that they have right now. Even though Baker Mayfield has been putting up amazing numbers against all 4 of the teams, I do believe, I think except for the Bills. Oh, wait, not the Bills. No, I'm trying to figure out the game, but he had that the Lions. If he didn't have
Yeah.
the game that he had against the Lions, then yes, I do believe that they would. He would be. I think Tampa Bay would win.
Okay. You know, we have a different one again. I think Tennessee wins this game. Mike Vrabel recently came out and said that Will Levis is the starter for the team, and that Ryan Tannehill is now quarterback number 2 and has officially been benched, which means, of course, um, the Liberty quarterback. Oh, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank right now. Help me out. Malik Willis is now the third string quarterback.
Yep.
So things are starting to clear up in the Tennessee quarterback locker room ever since Will Levis has played, even in the excuse me, even in the Pittsburgh game. I mean, he made plays. He had 262 yards. I mean, he did have that interception like you mentioned, but Derrick Henry's been a lot more involved. 101 yards last week. This week, 75 yards and a touchdown. They kept it close against Pittsburgh, who has a good team, but will lose this coming week, unfortunately for Pittsburgh. Um, ooh, burn. But anyway, anyway, talking about Tampa Bay, I said on this podcast before, they're pretenders. They had a good start to the season. They're on a 4-game losing streak. I think it's going to be 5. Their defense can't stop nobody. I think Will Levis will probably have a field day. Give me Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
not Tampa Bay, Tennessee. Excuse me. Give me Tennessee.
Yeah. Both right now, both defense is not stopping anything right now. So I think it's also
No.
going to be a high scoring game. So give me up, let me up with that one. So, but yeah, I'm still picking Tampa Bay.
All right, moving forward here, you have the Atlanta Falcons at the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray, coach said if the week goes well that the he will probably start. The Cardinals have also opened the window for James Conner to practice this week, so we'll see how that develops. And Taylor Heineke will start this week for Atlanta.
All right. So if Arizona does start if everything's all good with Kyler Murray and James Conner, um, hopefully everything is all good. I think Arizona will have a lot better chance to win this game. But I have a feeling that is not going to happen, so I am going to pick Atlanta Falcons over the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, me and you are on the same page here. I mean, Kyler Murray's health still kind of questionable. They said if the week goes well, I mean, that's putting a lot of context in there. I mean, they could have said he's just good to go. He's going to play this week, but they didn't. They said if the week goes well, James Conner practice windows open, but is he going to play? That means Caleb Toon would likely start, and he had 58 passing yards, 2 interceptions, and the Cardinals can't run the ball at all. Oh my God, Caleb Toon was the leading rusher at 28 yards. You look at the Cardinals; they had 41 total rushing yards and 17 total passing yards, counting sack yards, stuff of that nature.
Yeah,
That's bad. That is really, really bad. I mean, Hollywood Brown is their best receiver. They really don't have a lot of playmakers beyond him. I mean, a lot of question marks in the health department. Atlanta, you look at them. Taylor Heineke's proven to be a respectable, at least backup in the past. The Falcons have been a lot more competitive this season. I think the Falcons, yeah, they win this game.
yep.
Moving forward, this is a good game. This is another good game this week. The Detroit Lions at the Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, I love talking about the Chargers. It's fun talking about the Chargers for me. I've
Mm,
been so correct on the Chargers.
as we both have. Yeah, Chargers, they will look good
Yeah.
against horrible teams and then lose to great teams. Even though they lost against the Tennessee Titans, which they are not a good team, in my opinion. But I mean, you had in that game, you had Derrick Henry go for 80 yards, and Ryan Tannehill, out of all quarterbacks, it went 20 for 24, 246 yards, and one touchdown. So,
Yep.
but Lions are a lot better, in my opinion. You got Luigi coming off the edge over there for the Detroit Lions. Um, as I don't know if you get that reference, but in one of the games you see um, Aiden Hutchinson running like Luigi in one of the Super Mario or the Nintendo games, and I thought that was
I didn't see that yet.
I thought that was hilarious. I'll probably send you it after this, and I'll show you what I'm referring to. Um,
I live in a cave, my brother.
oh, I know you do, but give me Detroit. Give me Detroit on this game. Chargers will lose their charge. And the Lions are going to win.
Me and you are on the same page here. I mean, Detroit, you look at Detroit. They got thrashed by Baltimore, but they did respond 26-14 against the Raiders, and they are coming off a bye week. You look at the Chargers are coming off that Monday Night Football win against the New York Jets, in which here's a stat of how me and you have been so correct on the Chargers. The Chargers are now 4-4. They've had a good couple games. They went out there and beat two really bad teams in prime time. And I was watching First Things First today. No trademarks here. We have no association with them at all. We do not own any property said here. This is just quotes, the freedom of speech law. However, we don't get sued. And the co-host, I don't know his name, said that he thinks the Chargers could like go all the way or something like that. They're back. He believe. I'm sitting there going, here it goes. As I have said, as you have said, here it goes again. The AFC, I want to make people very clear, the Chargers could very well miss the playoffs. You look right now, out of the division winners, and now there are 3 wild card teams. 7 teams make the playoffs. So 4 division winners, the Chargers, other than division winners, so these does not include division winners, I'm about to say. 5-4 Bills, you have the 4-4 Chargers, you have the 5-3 Steelers, 5-3 Browns, 5-3 Bengals, 4-4 Texans. Someone's missing the playoffs.
Yep.
Somebody's going to miss the playoffs. So that's something to monitor. The Chargers beat up on bad teams and continue charging. So this is about the time for them to lose a game. It's about time for them to lose a game. They've had a couple good games. There's a little bit of hype on them now, and Detroit's going to go in there and they're going to come off a bye week and they're going to respond. They're going to win. Detroit's a really good team, unfortunately for me. Makes me very sad to say that. I've had a lot of fun making fun of their misery for years, but they got a good team, man. Detroit
Mm-hmm.
wins.
And then, and like I said before, and if we're looking at the playoff prediction right now, Chiefs are number
Yes.
one, Baltimore's number two, Jacksonville's number three, Miami's number four, Pittsburgh's number five, Browns number six, Cincinnati's seven, and the Bills are eight.
And that
So
doesn't even include the Chargers, my friend.
nope,
It doesn't even include the Chargers.
Chargers is ranked 10 right now.
That's what I'm saying. So someone's missing the playoffs. It's gonna be fun to watch the rest of this season with you, my brother.
Yep. Once again, AFC North is the best division
AFC North looks very good. You're correct.
is the best division in the AFC. Because if you look at it, everything else, everyone has a winning record.
Yep.
So AFC North
Yeah. It's gonna
is
be
the
fun to
best
watch.
division. Is the best division. As it always has been for many years. Yeah, AFC North has always been the best division.
It's been a very competitive division for a long time. You're right.
Mm-hmm. For a
Speaking
while.
of the competitive team, I guess a not so competitive team, America's Game of the Week: the New York Football Giants at the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm glad that's not a primetime game.
Oh, it is. It's America's game of the week, my friend.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, it is.
I know, sadly, but
It's a
I'm
good
gonna.
rivalry. I
I'm.
understand that. It's a really good rivalry, but it's the Lions and the Chargers game should easily be the game of the week.
I think the Jacksonville and San Francisco's probably be the game of the week.
Even that. But that's
But
a good 1 o'clock game.
I'm gonna pick the Dallas just because the Giants clearly see. I mean, we can clearly see the Giants has nothing to go for right now. They're two. They're two and
No.
seven.
No.
They've been looking absolutely horrible. Even though they lost against to the Raiders, against to a rookie quarterback, a Purdue rookie quarterback. Let's go. It,
Woo!
even though he has not thrown a touchdown that game,
Still,
but
they
he's
had their most efficient game on offense this season
exactly.
long. That's a real stat. The
So,
actual stat. I will. That's real.
but yeah, he went 16 for 25, 209 yards. Um, but yeah, and Josh Jacobs 26 for 98 and two touchdowns. His longest was a 15-yarder with Jacoby Myers with one carry and 17 yards and one touchdown. And that was his only rushing. And I gave him a touchdown.
Right.
So with everything else, Devontae went 4 for 7, caught 4 catches, with 38 yards, and his longest was a 12-yarder. So I mean, with everything else, it's actually looking really good. Even though they got sacked. Uh, Daniel Jones and DeVito got sacked 8 times that game.
Yes.
So, but yeah, Daniel Jones, he went 4 for 9 for 25 yards. Tommy DeVito had one touchdown and two interceptions. They got sacked 6 times, and Daniel Jones got sacked twice. So right now, it is not looking good for the New York Giants. I think it's a rebuild year. I still think they should have gave the money
Oh yeah.
to Saquon Barkley, other than Daniel Jones. I don't know who his um person is, but they did a heck of a job getting him that contract. Good God. But yeah,
I mean,
give me Dallas
yeah.
Cowboys.
You look at Dallas. I mean, they even looked good. They had a chance to win at the end in Philadelphia. Philadelphia's a top Super Bowl contender right now, so no shame in losing to them by 5. They're still 5-3. They're still in the playoff picture as a wild card team right now in the NFC, as me and you predicted. Things are going about how I expected there. With the Giants, though, my God, I had them missing the playoffs. I don't remember if you did. You might be able to quote me on that, but they're horrible right now. I mean, yeah, Saquon Barkley is getting involved right now, but they lost 30-6 to the Raiders. They've lost. They've only beaten 2 teams this year. Daniel Jones is out for the season. Tyrod Taylor's hurt. They have DeVito and Matt Barkley join the practice squad. The Giants have the league low 11 points a game right now on offense. They are horrible. There's nothing to look at with the Giants. Dallas is going to go in there and whoop that ass. They're going to spank them.
Yep.
You see those
Just
old memes when they come over there like "Daddy spanks you" type of deal. Oh, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be that bad.
yep. Even because hopefully, Dak Prescott will contribute more when they face the Giants the first time. Because I mean, 13 for 24, 143 yards. I mean, their defense and Pollard did all the work.
Oh yeah, but
Um,
that's what he needed to be.
I don't think so. I mean, look at Tua. Look what he did.
It's true.
I mean,
Two was the MVP candidate though,
exactly. So why can't Dak Prescott do the exact same thing week 1 against the Giants?
because Dak
Exactly.
Prescott's not that kind
Exactly.
of quarterback.
My point exactly. Because he is not the quarterback and he will never be the quarterback.
But here's the thing: he's too good to get rid of. He's a top 12 quarterback. He's top 10 quarterback, arguably. He's
He's the only quarterback that
good.
the Dallas Cowboys need. And they can't get
He's
anyone else because that's how the Dallas Cowboy runs. They get a quarterback, they stick with the quarterback regardless of the situation. Because
they
look at
do.
all the quarterbacks that they got in the past. They stuck with them
Romo,
for years to come. Exactly.
Romo.
Romo. Look at Tony Romo, for example. He's never was with another team. Like,
Nope.
so
The thing with Dak Prescott is he's too good to let go of because he gets to the playoffs. He'll get you close, but he's not good enough to get you there. You know what I mean?
and he never will be.
He needs a lot of help.
That's why. Oh, he needs a lot of help. Yeah, he needs a lot better targets.
I'm a little higher on Dak Prescott than you are. I think he is a franchise quarterback. He's just a top 10 franchise quarterback in me. He's not Joe Burrow. He's that. So you have there's typically, in my opinion, four standard areas for quarterbacks. You have the elites: Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, those type of dudes. Then you have the really, really, really goods. To me, Justin Herbert. I think he's this generation's Tony Romo. You have Dak Prescott. You have Derek Carr. You have, and today's probably Aaron Rodgers because he's injured. He's getting old. Those type of quarterbacks who are just right below there, and also elite is Lamar Jackson. Then you have level three game managers, guys that are pretty good. Sam Howell, in my opinion, Jordan Love, Kenny Pickett, in my opinion, just the really good game managers. They're not too horrible. Then you have your trash, the guys that are horrible. Caleb Toon, Zach Wilson, players like that, trash. Just four categories. That's my opinion.
And then going back to you saying Justin Herbert as a Tony Romo this generation, I think Dak Prescott's Tony Romo this generation
Oh, he is. He is.
because
He's just not
he'll
quite
take it to
good
the
enough.
playoffs, and then
Uh huh.
he'll fumble the bag. I mean, look what Dak Prescott has been doing. I mean, same thing as Justin Herbert. He'll take it to the playoffs, but he'll fumble the bag. I mean,
Right.
Tony Romo actually literally fumbled the bag
He did that playoff game
in a
many
field goal.
moons ago.
Yep,
Many moons ago.
should have been a Steelers Cowboys Super Bowl rematch. Yep, but that didn't happen, and but even though Steelers would have won regardless. But anyways, but I still think Dak Prescott is more of a Tony Romo this generation as Justin Herbert is for this season or for this generation.
Okay. I could see that as well. I agree. But he's too good to get rid of. Moving forward,
Ah.
Washington Commanders. We'll disagree. Washington Commanders at the Seattle Seahawks.
Hmm. Even
Are you
though
going to
take
take
command,
command?
even though they lost horribly, and I mean horribly, to the Seattle Seahawks. I mean to the Ravens. Um, because Geno Smith, I think this was one of his worst games that he had
It was an ugly game.
in a while.
It was.
Because I mean, well, against Cincinnati, he had two interceptions, but he did throw for 326 yards. So I don't know if you want to count that as a horrible game, even though he'd thrown two interceptions. But as yardage wise, facing against the New York Giants, he did throw 110, but he did throw a touchdown. So he's had some horrible games, especially with the New York Giants. Surprisingly, um, but Seahawks still finds a way to win the game. But I don't think the Commanders aren't taking command in the sky with the Seattle Seahawks. So I am taking the Seattle Seahawks. There are going This like bird poop on a windshield. That's how it's going to be. So give me the Seattle Seahawks.
Doesn't sound like JB wants to take command. I'm not taking command. I ain't taking command of shit. Yes, as I've predicted, the Commanders are a little sneakier than people thought. They're 4-5, mid, slightly below. They can kind of sneak up on you a little bit. Sam Howell looked okay, 325 yards, 1 touchdown. Scary Terry, 73 yards receiving. Robinson finally got in the end zone and has 63 yards. The Commanders can't run the ball. This is their best rushing performance in weeks. So against New England, but they barely beat the Patriots, who have problems themselves. 2-7, my God. I mean, we've kind of already covered that a little bit. But I mean, then you look at Seattle. Yes, Geno Smith, that kind of quarterback window I talked about with Dak Prescott. You look at Geno Smith. He is very similar. He's to the kind of Kenny Pickett, Jordan Love. He's just that moderate quarterback, middle to kind of slightly above mid. You know what I mean? That's where
Mm-hmm.
Geno Smith is. But Seattle has a really good team. Pete Carroll's a great coach. Walker running back, they're great. Geno Smith's still a good enough quarterback to make the playoffs in the NFC. I think Seattle gets back on track. The Commanders are a really good team. I think Seattle wins this game.
I agree.
Moving forward, Sunday Night Football. The New York Jets at the Vegas Raiders. The
Sunday night,
Raiders.
Sunday night football.
Ow!
Um,
With the historic Raiders.
so as
Commitment to
far
excellence.
man, it's even though two backup quarterbacks right now are going to be facing off, but is who's going to be better? Zach Wilson or O'Connell? Um, for me, I am probably going to pick the Raiders. I think
Okay.
Aiden O'Connell is the slightly better quarterback than what Zach Wilson is. They have better weapons on offense than what the New York Jets has because I think the Jets, even though they have a really good running back, even though Josh Jacobs is a better running back in my opinion, um, I feel like the Jets only has one receiver, is Garrett Wilson. Even though
Yeah.
he is a really good playmaker, he does have speed. He does have great hands. But look who's throwing the ball, Zach Wilson.
True.
So, so with that being said, um, and I think the Raiders has a slightly better defense than what the Jets have. You know, they have a stunning corner on the Jets, but I feel like that the Raiders defense is slightly better. And I think no one can stop Max Crosby. No one.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He is an animal. He's getting. I seen on I seen someone highlight in the game that he got triple teamed
Uh-huh.
and still got a sack. So
Right.
not a lot of players can actually do that, getting triple teamed
No.
and still get a sack. So with that being said, give me the Raiders.
I agree. This is kind of an upset in my opinion because the Jets have a good team as well. They have a good defense. Robert Saleh is a great defensive coach. And I mean, yeah, they have Zach Wilson to a point now to where he's not making mistakes like he was last year, and he's not making the stupid throws and turnovers.
Right?
But he's not him. He's a backup. I would say Zach Wilson has developed at least enough now to be a solid backup quarterback in the NFL. He's not a starter. He's starter garbage. Good backup. You don't want him to be your starter. And
No.
you look, that's his ceiling in my opinion. He doesn't seem to have a feel for the game. The Raiders, they have Antonio Pierce as an interim coach. They were able to thrash the Giants 30-6. I know it's only the Giants, But the Raiders are 4-5, so they're not like the worst team in the league right now. They're sticking with Aiden O'Connell. Pierce said so. I think Antonio Pierce has those guys in the locker room. I'm a big guy with locker room chemistry. Me and you have played the game on a way lower level. Locker room stuff matters. If you don't have a good locker room, you're not going to have a good team. If Antonio Pierce, did you see that video of Devontae Adams all pumped up? The
Hmm.
Raiders players are ready to play for him. They came out with a really good performance. O'Connell led them to the most efficient game on offense this season the Raiders have had. That's a real stat. Jacobs, 2 touchdowns, 98 yards. I mean, they dominated every phase of the game. I think the Raiders actually kind of upset the Jets here and win a very low scoring game, but give me the Raiders.
Yep.
Ooh, Monday Night Football. The Denver Broncos, the Buffalo Bills. At the Buffalo
Mm.
Bills.
Coming off a 2-win streak right now.
Yep.
Even though Taylor Swift was not at the Denver and Kansas City game, sadly to see for the Kansas City and the Kansas City fans, because
Oh,
Travis
yep.
Kelsey only had 58 yards and six catches. But
Oh, sad for them. They have the best record in the AFC and they still won.
but Denver killed Kansas City last, or when they last time faced, 24-9. Russell
And they're coming off
Wilson
a bye week.
Russell Wilson had 3 touchdowns that game. Um, but with that everything being said, am I going to pick Buffalo again, even though they are struggling?
Yeah, to a point.
To a point, yes. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Buffalo again. So give me Buffalo, even though I feel like every time that they face a horrible team, they always find a way to struggle.
But they win.
They didn't win against the Patriots, and they didn't win against the Jets.
And
So,
you're fair with that.
and yeah, I'm fair. So give me Buffalo against the Denver Broncos.
Okay, so you look here, the Broncos are 3-5. They're coming off the bye week, but before that the nice win um against Kansas City. So I think Russell Wilson looks a lot better this season. I mean, he's performing a lot better, but Buffalo, you look that playoff picture in the AFC, man. Someone's missing the playoffs because, like we've said, right now it's number one Kansas City, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Miami. Then the wild cards: Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati, with Buffalo and Los Angeles and Houston and the Jets knocking on the door. So someone's missing the playoffs. It's going to be a wild race. Buffalo, I think, is going to come out with some urgency. They still have a good defense. They need to figure out the running game. They still don't have a running game in Buffalo. At some point, Josh Allen can't. He's only get to an age where you cannot continue to run the ball with him like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look. He's a leading rusher again at 44 yards. Again, he's an elite quarterback. This dude's a Pro Bowler. This dude had you a game from the Super Bowl. He's a superstar quarterback, and he's your leading rusher. Get the man a running back. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. But I did see in the at the trade deadline, they did sign Leonard Fournette. So
Kick the tires on what's left of Leonard Fournette. I mean, sure.
I
I
mean
it
he
ain't.
he
I don't
took
think I.
he I mean he took that time off to actually get in shape, and if you've seen those pictures, man, he is in shape. My God.
I
But
don't think Buffalo misses the playoffs though. I don't. I think they might be a wild card. I think that might shock people. They might disappoint. They might be
mhm,
a wild card at worst case scenario. But Buffalo's not missing the playoffs. They're going to win this game, man.
yep.
We're both on Buffalo. The Josh Allen's too good. Russell Wilson's not what he used to be. Sean Payton, he still has a lot of problems to fix there.
Yep.
All right, as you can see above our screens here, I am 89-47 on the season. JB is 83-53. We'll see what this week leads. We have some different games this week. So, of course, we'll be monitoring that Pittsburgh Green Bay game. So, next week we have that bet going on.
Hmm.
To kind of wrap up on the NFL coverage, bye weeks this week are the Chiefs, the Rams, the Dolphins, the Eagles. So that is also to keep in mind. Moving forward to the world of the NBA. The NBA play-in tournament has started, and the Miami Heat are on a slight little bit of a win streak there at 2 games for the Miami Heat. JB, how do you think the Miami Heat look this season? What's your perspective on them right now?
I think it's just going to be like last year. It's going to be an eighth seed season. We're probably barely going to make the playoffs again because once again we do not have that playmaker on offense. Even though Tyler Hero has been showing a great points that we actually really needed in a spark on offense, but even though our defense has not been showing up, um, and that is in my opinion, because for the past 7 games, Hero has been our top scorer for those games for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. And the highest number that he had was 35. Season high so far is just 35. So, and in that game, he was our high rebounder, and that was it. And and for him to be had the most rebounds in that game, that's when we lost to Milwaukee. Had 8. Come on now. And then a game against Washington when we won, he had a double double, I do believe, almost a triple double. He had 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. So once again, he was our lead rebounder. Where is Bam Adebayo out of all of these games? Even though he had 14 rebounds against Brooklyn, but right now I mean, even though he's still averaging 9.3 rebounds a game, but I mean, we need to see more out of Bam, in my opinion. He's
Really?
I feel like he's slightly against the best or the better teams. Um, right now, he's not performing as well as I see him play.
Really? So I see something different. I mean, he's almost averaging a double double last night against the Lakers. I mean, he's the first Miami Heat player to have a 2020 triple double. We've had LeBron play for us, D Wade, Shaq, Alonzo Mourning, Chris Bosh. These are Hall of Fame players. And he's the first Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, and he's the first Miami Heat player to do that. That's pretty impressive against the Lakers, against LeBron and AD. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. I think he showed that last
I
night with that
mean,
triple double.
am I? I'm not saying that he's underperforming. I need to see more from him
Okay.
on it's like on defense. Like I need to see. I feel like he's needs to be more productive in our defense of the ball. Because even though the game against Brooklyn, which we should have won that game, we should
Yes.
have won that game. Like I said, our defense has not been performing under of what we
I don't
should.
think it's maybe so much defense as it is protecting leads. I mean, we gave up a lead in the opening night when against Detroit. We gave up a big lead in the fourth quarter against Brooklyn and lost by 3 points. Even in our first play-in game, we had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter against the Wizards, and we only won by 7 points. So we've had a problem like maintaining leads.
But yeah, and as for me, um, here's a great example that we need to see more of Bam Adebayo on against especially the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, he went
That was a rough game, yeah.
for 33 minutes. He went 7 for 14, 0 for 1 at 3 point. He went 5 for 10 at free throws, 1 offensive rebound, and 2 defensive rebounds. And then you had Carl Anthony Towns had 10 rebounds. Rudy Gobert 10 rebounds. I mean, we're like, what are we doing? Like we only have, it feels like we have like two centers or three centers on our team right now, and they didn't even show up.
Mhm.
Like no one on our team actually showed up to rebounds except for our second year, or I feel like our rookie, or yeah, our second year in, and he had 10 rebounds that game. Our only one, or no, 11. Scratch that, 11. Everyone else had two, three, five. Like I still say that we need to see more on our bigs to actually perform actually a lot better than what we are doing right now.
And I would like to see Thomas Bryant play a little more. He gives a good spark off the bench. I understand that concept that you need a spark off your bench when your starters aren't out there
Yep.
to protect those leads that you gain with your starters, and you need to protect those leads
Yep.
because you look right now. I'm gonna talk about a little bit. Tyler Hero, he's really proving people right now, averaging 25.3 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, 5 assists. Tyler Hero looks really, really good. I think, took those trade rumors a little personal this offseason. I think he's going to surprise some people. Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
Butler is still Jimmy Butler, of course. I mean, he did rest, and I gave him a little bit of some hard love on our Facebook about that on our Facebook post. But he's 19 points, 6.7 rebounds, 3.7 assists. So Jimmy's gonna be Jimmy. He'll average around 20 points a game, and playoff time will come around. Duncan Robinson's really impressed me. He's averaging around 11 points a game right now. So the Miami Heat are the Miami Heat. They want to play team basketball. Bam's an all-star player. Jimmy's an all-star player. We have Tyler Hero, who's definitely playing at an all-star level right now. The Miami Heat will be the Miami Heat. They'll want to get some bench depth. Jack West Jr. looks really good, the rookie. Thomas Bryant off the bench. Richardson's had some good moments, made some shots for us. Miami Heat are tied for the 7th seed right now. We're going to be right up there. I have them going to the finals. Maybe we can even win the NBA Cup. Hell with it.
As if, hopefully, I was like, I'll keep saying this. I feel like we need either one, a spark on our offense or on our bench that helps keeps the lead going.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like it's an on and off subject, or it's either a hit or miss. Either we're on it or we're off of it, type of thing.
I agree. And we're not going to be the number 1 seed. That's not how Miami plays. I think they could very well be a 6. I think we could possibly be a play-in team. I think we'll make the playoffs 100%. There's 0% doubt on mine. Then playoff time will come around. I think it's going to be a rematch, like I've said before. The East is going to be fun to watch. You got Milwaukee. You have with Dame Lillard and Giannis. Of course, you have Boston, who looks outstanding early on in the season. You have Miami. You have Philadelphia. So the East is going to be fun to watch, as is the West. So
Yep.
there'll be a lot of fun takes coming up with NBA, of course. But that's all we have for today's unbiased hard take. JB, anything else you would like to talk about?
Um, Nothing really is all I can think of, but we it's gonna be a good week for football. But I hope that our Miami Heat will actually do well this season. Hopefully, it's not going to be like last season. The A seed once again will go to the finals, barely win, going into the finals, and then we lose 4-0. But I mean, I just wish we had a playmaker or a better playmaker. I wish we would have gotten Damian Lillard, but we can't have everything, right? So, but with that being said, we'll stick with it, and we'll figure it out as the way time goes.
That's right. And like, subscribe, hit the bell, like us on Facebook, Sports Facts Today. I'm starting to cover a lot more. On game day, I covered a lot of the Packers game. My schedule has every weekend off, so I'm going to be trying to update more on Sundays. Me and JB are going to sprinkle in some NBA coverage early on. College football games are starting to matter. College basketball is ramping up. So a lot happening in the sports world. Me and JB will start sprinkling them in our third topics there. So a lot to talk about. You'll see a lot more on our Facebook. JB, don't be afraid to hop in there too. My buddy friend, people like your post, man. You start going on them Matt Canada rants.
Yeah.
And speaking of that,
fire Matt Canada. There we go.
hey,
Even though that on the Tennessee game, I did. Here's gonna be a first take or a hard take on my part. Once he was on the field against the Tennessee Titan game, he did amazing. Our offense actually sparked. Our offense did amazing. He actually was on the field. He actually taught our offense on different ways and different routes. So, with everything else, I do believe we should have Matt Canada on the field more instead of in the booth. So, but until then, fire Matt Canada. Until we're actually starting winning games and having winning multiple games, then I might reconsider of hearing or saying fire Matt Canada. But until then, fire Matt Canada.
Well, Joe Barry, I still owe you an apology, my friend. Thank you for only allowing 3 points against the Rams. With that, Packer Steeler week, we'll be monitoring that, so we'll see who has the shirt of shame next week. So with that, until next time, go Pack go, and let's go Heat.
And let's go Steelers, let's go. Till again, see ya.
See ya.